2. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk. I'm your host, Joe, with Coinigy here, joined by the wonderful Mr. Brian Beamish.
Hello, hello.
Brian,
How are
wonderful
you?
Mr. Brian Beamish.
Oh yeah, we are
Brian,
live on YouTube. I know that we're live and rocking because I hear an echo because I'm doing
start
OBS over
playing on
here.
your end.
Yeah.
Hello, Adam. Welcome back.
We've got Adam in the house. All
All right, and
right.
Jay Wall. Good evening.
There's
Good
Jay
evening.
Wall. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have a bunch of
Thank
hello
God.
Rob. We'll have a
Hello,
bunch of
Rob.
TRIers in the audience, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll have some Coinigiers. I don't know. Anyway.
Yes, sir. Well, how we doing tonight, Brian?
Oh, can't complain. Nobody listens whenever I do. That's my old broker line. Always had to have snappy one-liners whenever talking to clients. So anyway, that's my famous one-liner when everybody asks me how I'm doing.
I love it.
Actually,
So,
I my son just had his birthday yesterday,
happy
and
birthday, Liam.
yeah, I was posting videos and stuff of him. He's been I guess he's in his early 20s now. So he's not really into the whole physical activity. Typical 20-year-olds all he wants to do is sleep. But
Understandable.
and watch TV. But I took him out to the park, and we went on the swings. We haven't done that in a long time. Posted videos on Facebook and stuff like that. So actually, I've been hearing from a lot of people I haven't heard in a while, because I think the last time he wanted to go out and do something other than just go for a car ride and eat junk food and McDonald's and Burger King and stuff was May of last year. So anyway, I'm
Well,
not quite
I'm
sure why I'm
glad that
telling you
you're able
this,
to
but
spend
that
some
was my
quality
day over the
time.
past couple days.
I'd say that sounds like a pretty good day to me.
Gary got grilled today. What's that? Is that Mr. Gensler?
Mayor Gensler?
Oh yeah, was he in the hot seat?
Oh, I don't know. I did not see that either.
Omar's pretty tuned in. Actually, one thing I will say about the TRI community is they're pretty sharp guys and girls, and houseplants. Can't leave out the houseplants. Pretty tuned in when it comes to crypto. So if anything, I've got a name for you guys, and I want you to do our due diligence and stuff because who was it? It was Johnny Salmon on the site. I think he goes by the name Johnny Chicken now these days, though. Um, he um, he found a name that was just going absolutely crazy today,
Oh, really?
and I gave you the symbol earlier,
Oh, that was the one that you
and
sent me in chat. I'd love to take a look
yeah,
at that.
and I'd just be curious. Nobody can figure out what the hell these guys do. Maybe we
The
should take some time. Might be interesting to see
ERB.
if we could use the Coinigy platform to do a little digging. I don't know, maybe.
ERB is that Telor?
What was the symbol again? I can't remember.
And
I sent it to you, and I was
yeah,
like,
so
okay,
I've
we
got it
got to
up
talk
here.
about this one tonight.
Yeah. Well, should we take it away with
Um,
that one and jump right in there?
yeah, I suppose so. What was this thing? It was TRB. So all you crypto aficionados over there on the YouTube page, and of course anybody watching the video later on, if you want to maybe in the comments, if we go like this down below in the comments, right? You gotta look like you're a
In the
YouTuber.
comments.
Uh, let us know what the heck you think this thing's all about, because I have no idea what it is. And I got all excited waving my arms around there. I forgot what the damn symbol was. What was it again?
TRB.
T as in Tom?
Yes, sir. R as in
TRB.
yes.
Oh, and
You have
FYI,
to go to all.
everybody, maybe even, it might even be a good idea.
Yeah.
I know people like Adam are really good with this. Somebody get a stopwatch, and we have a hard stop. We cannot go over 2 hours tonight.
We'll keep an eye on it. But
Yeah.
so
So if you guys could set an alarm for say an hour and 45 minutes, because Brian, he's just gonna keep blabbing away until somebody tells him to shut up. And you guys bark at us over there on YouTube. We're coming in. You got any shit? Wind it down. Wind it down. I mean, I could
Sounds
put a
great.
stopwatch. Hey, there you go. So Adam's already on it.
There you
Thank you,
go.
Adam.
Thanks, Adam. It's like
Okay, so what the heck is this?
TRB USDT
Yeah,
on
so can somebody
finance.
help us over on YouTube? What the heck do these guys do? TRB? Looks like it's
Yeah.
on Polo on Binance. I think that's where,
Like, yeah, that's what you
well,
sent, but
it
I'm
says
not seeing
Binance
it there.
Futures. Anyway, does anybody know what the heck these guys do?
Let's see. I've got it up here. So Teller is a decentralized Oracle protocol. Oracles are a key part of blockchain infrastructure that update valuable off-chain data, making it available for on-chain smart contracts.
All
Um,
right.
what makes them unique? Teller's Oracle works by incentivizing data reporters to put valid data on chain while also uh, de incentivizing bad reports via disputes and slashing. Interesting.
Okay.
But it's been doing a bit of a run there. A lot of volume, as we discussed last week with the OBV. So I can see a lot of
Yeah,
those
well, yeah, hopefully you're
green.
right. Hopefully what ends up happening is I've corrupted you so you'll never be able to look at the market the same way again.
And that's the goal. That's why we're doing this. And hopefully, for all of our viewers out there, are getting the same value, added
Yeah.
value that I've been getting from this live show. So,
All
obviously, I
right.
take a look at this, and that's the first thing I noticed after our discussion from last week.
Well,
All
this
the green volume that kind of gave it away.
that's a weekly chart too. So let's look at
Eesh.
what a daily chart. I mean, look at that thing. Is this the right thing? Am I looking at it? Because
Yes, it is. That is.
this looks slightly. Mind you, this might have been.
It's the same price range that we were looking at.
Yeah. Okay.
Might be a little bit different volume on Gate,
Uh,
but similar to the one that you'd sent me.
Yeah, I don't I see. I don't know where. Like, is this maybe this was the Binance Futures? Is that the one that
Oh,
we were
here
looking
now
at?
it's the
Oh yeah,
Binance.
that. Well, does that look a little different?
No, there's a Binance market up there. I see
Is
that.
there
Yeah,
Binance? Oh, there you go. Brian's blind as a bat. Sorry, everyone. All right. So oracles are oracles all the rage these days?
I guess so.
It's a
It could
beaut.
be.
I
Guess
mean,
we'll
it's
have
a
to do a little more
beautiful.
research on it.
Beg your pardon?
We'll have to do a little more research on it.
Yeah, somebody over on the YouTube page, who's that, said,
Chain link.
JWall said Chainlink leads the Oracle market. So I do remember, do you ever watch Chico Crypto,
Yeah,
Tyler?
you had mentioned him in the past. I have tuned into some of his videos, but
Yeah. I remember he was a big fan of that link. When you say Chainlink, are you talking about this Link
yeah,
USD?
that's chain link.
Yeah, so I wonder,
I bought
is
in. That
this
was
thing
one
moving
trade
up as
that
well?
before I learned from the greatest,
Ooh,
I got
hello.
I got destroyed by Chainlink back in the day.
Well, okay,
I
but
was
so
one of
the
those people
point
that's sleeping on the
here,
couch.
huh?
I was one of those people sleeping on the couch there.
You must have bought right there then, eh?
Yeah,
Aren't you
so but hey,
there?
that's why we're doing this show so we can learn to avoid those types of situations.
Exactly.
I
Well,
now know.
and don't burn the roast, right? Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Inside joke.
Yeah.
But the point here is that actually, and actually, I'm glad that we pointed this out because the problem here is that most people come to trading um, like there,
The
and the
longer the
problem
channel,
here
the
is
bigger the run.
can you come in and actually buy that there?
Can you zoom out? I want to.
No, no, that's exactly what I want you to see. The answer should be
Yeah. Oh,
blatantly
no.
obvious.
No.
No, you can't. Right? I
It's called a
mean,
bot.
what's the letter of the alphabet that we have to see to be able to justify buying?
You need to see a W.
Very good. Especially, well, anyway, so the point here is, right? Down, up, down, breakout, right?
Yes,
You've
sir.
been working with me long enough. You can see the
Yep.
moving averages crossing back bullishly here. We can even put a nice horizontal line right on the chart right there. Right. So what does that say? $13.60. So here we are at 50, 60 bucks. Think Brian's gonna get excited about wanting to buy that? I don't think so.
No, not at this time.
So, I did want to mention this. Like, this is what, if you want to quote unquote make money from trading, this is what you have to avoid like the plague. You cannot come in. This is what we
No
call
chase.
chasing. Yeah, right? You know the term, right?
Yes,
Don't chase,
sir.
don't chase, don't chase. So, if I did want to participate in this, what do you think, as an investor, what do you
Okay.
think I should do on my charts here?
Draw the Fibonacci retracement levels.
All right. And what's Brian's? Oh, actually, they're right on the screen there for you. Made it easy.
Brian's favorite fib is 78.6. And
Right.
then
And this guy's
uh
good old Mountain Man.
Mountain Man
I
and
don't think
the
you'd know who Mountain Man is, but
61.8
yeah.
there. And
Actually, I
then
had just the most beautiful example of an alt ABCD that hit 1.618. And what's 1.618 called in mathematics land?
that one is it's not the thing. The chaos theory is 2.618. The golden
No,
ratio.
no, no, he's got to learn this on his own, Rob.
The golden
You
ratio.
guys you're pretty lucky, Joe. You got a whole bunch of people here that I have schooled up,
They're just throwing it out there.
and they're going to help immensely.
Yes.
But that's okay, Rob. It's all right. Joe needs all the help he can get, right?
Hey,
No.
I do have it right there. Just didn't have
No,
it
no,
off
you're
the top
awesome.
of
You're
my head.
awesome. So, I'm just going to leave it. Hey, there you go. All right. Shouldn't that be on an MBA pad?
Yeah, it should. We're working on it.
All right. So, if I was going to be an investor, you're probably best to wait for reload zones, right? Yeah, very
Mhm.
good, J-Wall. Everybody watches these videos and all the daily briefs and daily brief after parties. You really need to have your journals out. That's the whole reason why I'm doing this
There's
is to help you
education
guys
in
out.
every video.
Yeah. Now, let's see if you can remember this. This is sort of like, commodities trader, blue chip stock investor, all that kind of stuff. Is there a zone that we actually really like that we want to concentrate on for things like venture capital?
The venture capital reload zone,
It makes it pretty easy.
88.6.
Yeah, so I would strongly suggest you throw 88.6 on your charts. I can't see if I have it on here or not.
Down below two.
Down below two.
Oh,
There's
sorry.
two.
There's a two on the other side. Other column.
There we go, right there. Aha, and notice, look how close that actually aligns with the original double bottom, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So I often suggest to people who play venture cap that maybe you use that 78.6 to 88.6 zone. Either way, point here is what this tool does for you is it forces you to buy down markets. And that's very difficult for the public to do. They want to buy this. They don't want to make this difficult, and I have to be patient, and I have to be disciplined, and I have to wait. And that means I have to not buy today. I might buy next week. I might buy next month. I might buy 6 months from now. Who knows? So the problem here, of course, is that if you buy here, where do you have to realistically expect the market to pull back to?
The reload zone.
Well, the original bottom, right? This is,
Yeah.
just think of W's as, and this is what I teach people. Have you ever talked about the institutional fingerprint?
Briefly, we have.
So, remember institutions that,
The bottom
whether
of the
it be
reload
crypto
zone.
whales or Vitalik or Satoshi Nakamoto, if you believe that that is actually a person. The point being that those are the people that put the floors and bottoms in these markets. And nowadays, unfortunately, now it's going to be like the Peter Finks, And you saw how Allen went and put a bottom in Doge there a couple years ago. Um, Probably you could probably reference a bunch of those other sort of fat cat people that are getting into crypto now. I noticed that Mark Cuban guy, he's been getting into crypto, but getting his fingers burnt a lot, which is
He
kind
just
of funny.
got a whole lot of money stolen from his MetaMask
That's
wallet.
what we call burning your fingers
Oh, okay,
in
that's
trading
funny.
land. We call that getting your fingers burnt.
Are you using his password?
So, I don't know what his password is, but I wouldn't mind knowing. I'm sure there, a
I'm
guy
sure.
like that, he could lose a couple $1,000,000 and he probably wouldn't even notice, eh?
Yeah, surprising he's
But
using his
I'm not
password.
that unethical. I would never
No,
steal from
rational.
somebody.
No,
Gee
we're
whiz.
no cabbage coin.
Where's our buddy? And actually, I think I even put him on before we started. There we go. there's
Yeah,
there's a good portion
we're
of the
no cabbage
cryptoverse.
coin.
And I wonder if he was the one who bore, and he's just borrowing Mr. Cuban's coins. He's not stealing them. He's just
He's
borrowing
borrowing. Yeah,
them. Anyway, okay. So the point here is, if I wanted to buy this thing, this is where I'd want to be concentrating, right?
yeah.
And the point here is that institutions buy down markets. That's that whole institutional fingerprint kind of concept.
Yes.
Since the public always buys up markets and they always lose money and they always panic sell the bottom, then this is probably the public panic selling down here.
So the institutional
And
fingerprints are visual reference to be able to see where money puts money into the market after the fact.
well, puts a bottom in the market
Puts a bottom after the
because
fact.
they're probably absorbing all the panic selling by the public. So that's what this whole concept of W's are, right? You see that?
Hmm.
And the point here is, what does the W really try to highlight? And the point here is that we would like to see the right hand side of the W higher than the left side, right?
Hmm.
So what the W really tries to highlight is this is a brand new trend. And as they say in trading, the trend is your
Friend.
hey until it isn't.
Till it takes your money.
Yeah, so but the point here is that if we have higher highs and higher lows, then ideally what we're really saying is this is actually also too a conversation about supply and demand. So you could make the argument that the reason why the price made a higher low here was because the sellers just ran out of ammunition and there were so many buyers down here that they just literally bought all of the sell orders up. And when the buy orders overwhelm the sell orders, what happens to price? It goes up. And the most important part of this entire W is this middle part, because this represents where demand was actually rejected because there was so much supply at this level here. So demand was like buy, 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 and then supply came down and said, "You want coins? We'll give you all the coins you ever want." And back down goes price. But then, as we said, a higher right-hand side of the W means that demanders said, "All right, we'll gobble them up. Gimme, 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 gimme," and that turned price up. And if we can break through this area, this middle part of the W where supply came back out, then it means that maybe we have a new trend, that demand overwhelms supply. And then what usually happens is, if indeed this is the case, then we get this sort of stair stepping higher, which you've probably seen before as what they call sort of higher highs and higher lows.
Hmm.
And demand just keeps coming in and overwhelming the supply over and over and over. And that is your bull market. So you can clearly see it here. This is a really, really good example of that concept, institutional fingerprints, and the W. And what happened on the other side of it? When they cleared out all this demand, because on this bar here, they stopped the bull. When they cleared all that out, were there any sellers left over? Doesn't look like it to me.
No, just a whole lot of buyers and
Just,
chasers.
yeah, exactly. Tons and tons of buyers just coming
That
out
thing
of the
is
woodwork, eh?
running.
So the problem here, though, is, remember this image right here? I mean, technically, where was the last low? And, usually, keep it simple, stupid. Usually markets, and this is almost a function of Mother Nature, markets like to retrace what percentage of the previous move? Just by default?
Isn't it 70?
No. Just think nice and simple, WD GAN.
50. Duh.
The 50% rule. So that means by definition,
50% retracement.
yeah, I mean, by definition, you should at the very least expect something like that. And of course, this sets up things like the bot, all that kind of stuff, right? We'll talk about that in a bit. But the point here is that, remember, what we want to try and do is, if we're really lucky, try and get in on that trend. Well, just like this concept here, can you see that this up move is the actual trend? So what often happens in the market is markets will actually come right back down and kiss that trend line. And they might even do it repeatedly, where they just keep, oh, come on, you. Where they just keep coming right back to that original trend. That happens a lot. So if we draw that trend line off of this market, oh, lo and behold, there's our venture cap reload zone, and notice how that aligns nicely with that trend line. So that means that if you do come in and buy up here, and you can even see there's some, what do we call these? You said you made reference to it earlier.
The wicks?
Yeah, but
sleeping on the couch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could already start to see there's some kids who came in and panic bought the top here, and they're already getting their sleeping bags out going, oh, Jesus, I'm screwed.
Rolling out the blanket, grabbing the pillow off the couch.
Yeah. And if they're lucky, if they're unlucky, maybe they have to sleep in the doghouse. Who knows? So you might even see, and what's interesting is you can see even at this point, there were probably some people that bought in this wick right here, and then the damn thing came all the way back down here, and they were like, oh my God, I'm so dead. And then the market did push higher, and they probably went, oh God, thank God, get me out of there. But anyway, maybe not, maybe so. So if I go and buy up here, I have to realistically expect the market, at the very least, to come back down to the trend line, right?
Yes, sir.
And really, if I buy this W, I don't know whether you know this or not, but if I do buy this W, where should I risk to? Should I risk to this right-hand low or the left-hand low?
The one to the right.
Well, you had a 50% chance.
No? Why would you do the other one?
Because this one actually, believe it or not, like a lot, especially if you are right down in here near the bottom of the market, a lot of traders will actually come and swim against these lows, just hunting for liquidity. And you're not really breaking the uptrend here. If you just simply come back against this low, you don't break through this low, you just come back against this low, and then you turn it back up. Really, you haven't done too much technical damage. So a lot of guys, they'll break it out, down, up, down, break out, but then they'll come back and they'll go after the liquidity pool right against that low there, and then turn it back up, and it's still technically moving higher if it does move back up through here. You could make the argument that if we break this low, well, then maybe the bull is just on pause. We haven't actually gone and created bearish market structure, because remember, bearish market structure looks like an M, which means that we actually do go through all these lows. Notice if we just pull back here, that's going to be going up here, and then like there, and then if we come back here, that's not really a new M. All they did was they just washed these lows, and then quite often, because that's a liquidity pool, remember we said institutions buy what kind of markets?
Down.
So you might find that the institutions actually start pushing this back down, seeing if they can. We actually, on the site in our education program, We call this the noob stop. So a lot of new people to trading will put their stop loss below this right hand part of the W, and they
Instead
end
of
up
lunch.
becoming fodder for the institutional people, just like Rob says over there.
What's fodder?
Huh?
What did you say? Fodder?
Yeah, have you ever heard that expression?
I have not. What's that?
Uh, what's actually, you talk in cliches so much in this world, you can't even, I don't know how you define fodder, but um, the institutions want liquidity. They buy
Okay.
down markets. So if they can push the market through here, they haven't really created a new M. There's no new bearish market structure with this. So maybe what they're doing, if I have my stop loss order here and I bought here and I have my stop loss order here, then what does that mean that I'm going to do? That means I'm going to sell if it breaks this low.
Okay.
And the institutional guys are going to be the ones who are going to be
Buying it.
buying my
Mm,
sell orders. Does that make sense?
does.
In fact, we used to have an expression in the market. This move down here would be, and then we went after the stops,
Makes sense.
where institutional players will do this quite a bit. So the point of the matter here is this is where the fight is down here. And if I'm actually going to trade this, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting your stop here. I would just say you're just putting a big magnet on the back of your head. And I've seen a lot of times the market will do this. It'll come down, it'll wash these lows, and then it'll turn right back up, and you get all pissed off and stuff.
Gotcha.
So, good rule of thumb is you put your stop just below the lowest low, the left hand part. Now, remember, we said institutional fingerprints, right? Somebody actually bought up this low here. Somebody also bought up this low here. So that means if I put my stop loss below this level here on the left-hand side, then technically I'm going to let two big fat cats defend their trade and their trade level before I do anything. And if they can't hold these lows and they can't hold this W, then I say, okay, fine, I'm out. Does that make sense?
It does.
All right. So
Made
point
note of that.
is if we're going to fight the good fight, it should be down here, not up here. So, and I'd be curious what the fundamentals are on this story that are actually driving this bull run. Because it looks to me like whatever is going on here, and you mentioned this is an oracle. Um, have you ever heard the expression, a rising tide lifts all boats?
Yes, I have.
Or a falling tide sinks all boats?
Yes.
So you said this is in the oracle space,
Hmm.
and we look at other ones that are sort of like blue chip in this space. Do you see how something is going on in this particular part of the market? Or if we just like look at this Kraken, do
Yeah, I'd
you
be
see
curious.
how we are basically at the battle zone here? This thing has not launched itself yet. Can you
Okay.
see the
I,
W trying to form? Down, up, down. Has the W actually come in yet?
it is not
We, as professional traders, should we maybe be paying attention?
paying attention, but not buying in yet. It needs to confirm the W.
Exactly. And so, usually what I'll do is I'll write something like, now, you tell me, what do you see when I write that?
Opportunity is nowhere.
And
But I
that's
know also
usually how mostly the
but
public reads
opportunity
that.
is now here.
No, you're going to stick with your first one.
I know. I was just saying that's the alternative, but I read them both, but I went with the first one.
The point here is that if the public looks at an image like that, what do you think the public is thinking?
That it's the public.
I mean, keep it simple.
No
Is this
bueno.
thing gonna make me rich? Is it
No,
flying high?
no.
Is it Lambo Central? Or
No,
is
sir.
it down? This thing's almost at new lows. This
Yeah,
thing sucks. Why the fuck would I be interested in this piece of crap?
yeah.
Excuse my French. So, and the interesting thing is there's no wrong way to read this line. But seasoned traders would look at this and say, what was the symbol again on that thing?
It was TRB. Or you
TRB.
could click on your recent tabs.
Oh, you're so smart. Hey, there you go. Another reason to use Coinigy. All right. Could you not make the argument that basically that link looks like this thing right about here?
Yeah.
Hadn't broken out yet? And is there a probability that maybe the
There is.
link thing is going to do something like this?
Yes.
I mean, whenever we're looking at markets, what did I say? Let's see if you can remember this. I just mentioned this a moment ago. What is the most natural thing for this silly little thing to do?
For link, you're saying?
Every market, any market. 50% retracements.
Yeah. Yep.
So you just sort of identify, okay, where was the last swing high? I mean, we could go off of that one. We could go off of this one. And obviously here you can see these are the lows. It looks like this was the lowest low right there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's draw some 50% rules. What was that fib that Brian likes to use as sort of like, markets usually like, and you should expect them to hit this fib on a pretty regular basis.
The seven,
No.
the first stop target, are you saying?
Right? And what's that?
38.2.
All right. So if we use that logic, do we have 38.2 on here? What's that? That one's 25. What's that? That's 33. What's that? That's 33 too. Hey, how does that work? Let's make this one 38 2. So we do 38.2 to 50%. This would be sort of like keep you honest. We're not really looking for a new bull market. We're just what Mother Nature does on a regular basis. Do you see how there's a bit of profit potential here?
Indeed.
Well, that's a pretty big window. That's like $7 all the way up to the better part of like 20, 21. That's like a triple, right? That's not doubling your money. That's tripling your money. That's not so bad, eh?
But you would sell half on a double.
You could. I mean, that's really all depend on you and your trading plan. I used to have fun with some guys on the site were like, I'm here to make money, Brian. I'm going to sell half on a triple or sell half on a quadruple because this is venture capital after all. I don't really care. I mean, is that realistic that you always want to ask things like 38.2 bounces? Is it realistic to look for that kind of bounce? Right? I think that's realistic. That's not unrealistic.
Mm-hmm.
If you start drawing charts and you've got like, I'm going to sell half on 10x. And of course, 10x, I suppose, would be what, $70? So I'm going to sell half when this thing gets up right up in here. That's my target. I mean, I'd ask you, is that realistic? I mean, come on. So, if you were like, 38.2 is 3x what we're trading at now, I'm going to put my order there. And as somebody points out, is we could probably also, because the W's here, What's another study that we could do, which I did a tutorial for
Chaos
Coinigy
theory.
for, and you're not going to find that anywhere else on the interneting, folks. In fact, the only other guy I've ever seen talk about chaos theory was the guy who founded Interactive Brokers. And the interviewer asked him to please describe chaos theory, and he said, "This interview's over."
Well, we're
Jerk.
done here.
So, I mean, I think I probably all the traders in the world are going to hate me for this, but I think I'm the only guy out there who gives you a tutorial on chaos theory totally free, and we don't ask a damn thing from you other than to maybe visit Coinigy and watch the video. Shameless plug, shameless plug. And of course, TRI, right? You can learn lots about it at TRI.
Yes, you can.
So what are we gonna do for chaos theory? Let's do 2.618. Let's do 4669s. And actually 4669, that is the bifurcation number. If there was a number that Mr. Foggenbaum himself is famous for, it's this 4.669. And lo and behold, look at that. There's that. Do you think that's an accident?
Nope.
4669 and 38.2 are almost basically the same number. So the interesting thing, and let's go back to that other one, the TRB, right?
Yes.
Let's do some math here. First
They're
and
on Binance
foremost,
futures. I don't know if you wanted to be on regular Binance. If you go to the bottom one there.
There we go. So, if we do, what did we say was the number that you should probably expect markets to trade to at any sort of given point in time?
That is 38.2.
All right. And Mr. W.D. Gann's gift to the world, Mother Nature 101.
50.
W.D. Gann's gift to the world, Mother Nature 101.
Oh.
50% rule?
Yeah, I said 50.
Well, look at what just happened.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an accident?
No, sir.
So, ironically enough, this name here, what should we be doing if we did have the tenacity to buy the W down here? What should we be doing on this? And what was that number? That was $14. Here we are at $60. How many X's is that? That's 28 is 2. So 42 would be 3. 57 would be, that's 4x, right?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it did pretty well there.
Stone cold.
Yes, sir.
So you tell me, is it worth knowing this W concept?
Absolutely.
And then the point here is, are you buying in at the bottom end of the range? The interesting thing about this one is, notice it never did break new lows, did it?
No.
So on this honk and rally, I mean, it's done this before, right? Look at that W there.
Mm-hmm.
You could have said, okay, and this is the point of why you don't chase, is on this W, the darn thing breaks out and goes zooming up. And we say, all right, well, we are patient and we are disciplined and we are going to buy reload zones. Mm-hmm. And we'll even be conservative. We'll do the regular futures markets blue chip stock reload zone. Well, that's in there. There's good old Brian's 78.6. Right there. And, if you want to be sexy and you want to do venture cap reload zones, we'll go, where's 88.6? It was down here. There it is. And look at that beautiful bottom. In fact, it almost looks like that's basically right in the middle of that zone where the next W came in, eh?
Yeah.
So, pick your poison. Really, really good reason why you don't want to chase. And I would say it's the same damn thing here.
That's about to tank.
Pardon me?
That one looks like it's ready to puke out.
Well, what it looks like is there's going to be a whole bunch of trapped guys that are going to be sleeping on the couch up here, which is a shame. But like I said, rising tide lifts all boats. Like, I do find this fascinating. Oh, where the heck did Link go? That's too bad. Oh, because I have this thing in here, right? There it is. Hey, I see I'm getting good at using this. I mean, I can't believe that when we actually talked about that, I was just like, holy shit. Excuse my French. But can you see how, like, there is the downtrend line
Mm-hmm.
right there? So, really, give me a W on the other side of the trend line, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
And can you see how nothing, 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 nothing? Hello. Is that a
Yes.
W that's about to come in here?
Looks like it could be.
And this makes it really easy. All you do is, and now you tell me, there's the middle part of the W. You should be able to read the prices here. Here's the
Mm-hmm.
bottom of the W. So where are you going to, and you also know where 38.2s are. So have you ever, I don't know whether you've heard me say this before or not, but I highly encourage anybody who's ever going to invest in anything to
Mm-hmm.
know before you do anything in the market, you know exactly where you're going to buy, you know exactly where you're going to risk to, and you know exactly where you're going to take profits. All well ahead of the fact. Haven't spent a dime. So you tell me, I don't know, can you see the screen? I don't know whether you can see that or not.
Yes.
Where are you going to buy this thing?
At above 8.44 is
Okay.
the
Where are you going to
W.
risk to?
And then you would do your 2 to 1,
No, no, just keep it
wait,
simple. Where are you going to
oh,
risk to?
to the 38.2.
That doesn't make sense. Are you shorting?
No,
No, we're
wait,
buying, right?
so risk, down. So then, to 5.
$5.
Yes.
So you
So,
already know exactly how much you're going to risk. In the brokerage world, I used to have four different type of risk takers. When I used to be a commodities broker, options broker, stock broker, financial planner, the whole fucking thing, right? Um, and I used to have various different types of clients, and they're all different types of risk takers. So this one in particular, I used to have a lot of clients who were just working schlubs. I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, I'm a you know house builder, I'm a concrete layer, whatever, pourer.
mhm.
And I used to call them Joe Sixpack. Typical Joe Sixpack, he will risk 50% of his investment, but he wants to make some serious money, right? So I call that type of risk taker Joe Sixpack. So this is a typical Joe Sixpack risk model where we're going to buy 8.5 and we're going to risk to a break of $5, right? So that's basically risking about $3.50, right?
Yep.
It's not exactly 50%, but it's pretty close to that number, right?
Yeah.
Actually, that's fine. 492. And I often suggest this is a really good little tidbit for you, anybody watching this in the public. Don't put your stop at a really obvious level. So, like the low on this thing here, it says like 5.00766, right?
Hmm.
Don't put your stop at like $5 even. In fact, that's what we call a big fat round number. Put your stop at a really weird number. In this particular case, I just happened to eyeball this 4.92634. I mean, that's just a weird, odd number. There's probably no other orders on the order book at this level. So you're going to be all out on your own. But if you put your stop at a big, fat, round number, there's going to be a whole bunch of other people are going to put their stops there. And that's just almost like a magnet for those guys that, and then we went after the stops kind of idea.
Okay.
So always try and put your stop at a really weird, odd, crazy number.
You want it, is it better to have it slightly below or above
It
it?
has to be below.
Below it?
Because,
Okay.
like, look down here, right? If you said, well, this W, actually, it's interesting. There is a little bit of a W that's working here. Well, you know what? Let's go back to that other one that we were just on. And actually, this is kind of a fun tutorial because this is actually really good learning material for you guys. Except for Brian's got Alzheimer's and he can't remember the damn symbol when we go back to it.
TRB?
What was it again?
TRB?
TRB. Now, why the hell
You're
do I?
looking in your favorites, so you have to click.
Oh, there you go. That's why. All right. Binance. There we are. Right. So if I put my stop above um this like down, let's say like right here above that low, and let's say,
Yeah,
I bought this fractal or something. I might have gotten stopped out here, even though we never did go to new lows. So it has to be below this low.
that
Right?
makes sense.
You put the you risk um to below the W. That's the whole point of this. We're going to actually remember I said, we're going to let the institutional guys here defend their lows. And we'll put our stop down below here at a nice fat round number or an odd weird number.
That is at a
What did I just say like a minute ago?
you don't want it at the big fat round number.
You want it at an odd weird
An
number.
odd weird one. Oh, I thought you were asking if this one specifically was at one.
No. Okay. So point here is we go back to our study here. Um, if I'm going to play this W, I think it behooves us to risk to these lows. And actually, you can see this low looks like it's a little bit lower there. Right?
Yeah.
And even, wow, actually, I don't know whether I've talked to you about this or not before. Do you know what you call this little candle right in there?
Is that
That's a hell of a buy
The V
signal.
bottom?
It's a V bottom. This is like probably a little more advanced for most of the public. But this bar here is inside this big bar.
The
So
inside
it's
bar?
actually called an inside bar.
Yes.
And if we reverse and we go up through the inside bars high, that's actually a buy signal. So that's like, I'm a super pro boss trader guy.
Mm-hmm.
You keep it simple. I mean, hell, look at this pretty little one here. Can you see the little W here? Down, up, down, breakout.
Breakout. Yeah.
And, I always tell students the more your W's look like a really well defined W, the better. A lot of new people to trading will go, is that a W? And I'd go, well, if you stood up at the chalkboard in your grade 3 class and your teacher says draw a W and you drew that on the chalkboard, what do you think she would say? Or he, or houseplant. Do houseplants teach school kids? I don't know. I don't think so.
You never know nowadays.
Good answer. Anyway, do you think that you'd get high marks for Johnny or
No.
Joey would draw a W on the chalkboard? What do you think? You think you'd get good grades?
No.
All right. So the
Say,
more
but Brian Beamish taught me how to draw that W.
the more well-defined your W is, the better you're going to get a score in grade 3 English class, and probably the odds are you're going to make more money from trading. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so the point here is there's our big honking W. We're not going to be like sharpshooter trader, picking bottoms and tops. We're just, we're just Joe six-pack investor. We're looking for this W. We're going to buy the W breakout, and we're going to risk to a break of the bottom of the W. And what did we say by default? We really should minimum risk reward if we're ever going to go into the market and risk something.
2 to 1.
Right. So interesting how if we risk up to that 38.2 level, the 4.669, look how that comes out to 2.57. You think Brian would be happy with you taking that kind of risk?
Yes.
Well, that's pretty. As I said, when I pulled up this chart, I could just see it. Was the moment I pulled this up, I went, damn. And then the interesting thing here is that I bet 9 people out of 10 in the public that would look at something like this, they would go, well, opportunity's nowhere. This thing looks like it's dead. And they just don't know how to interpret price. Do you see how we're forcing ourselves to buy down markets?
Yeah, you'll have to send me the snapshot of that one.
Yeah, it's we never want to get into. Do you want the link or do you want the actual image?
Tomato.
Okay.
I'll do the link.
I tell you what, I will give you. Where are you? There is one tomato,
Come
And
on.
there is one potato. There you go. You got both. Merry Christmas.
Oh.
I mean, just looking at this chart, it's got everything that we want to see if we're interested. Now, since we made a new low here, what's the one thing that we haven't talked about today? Okay, actually, let's back the train up here. How many reasons should you have to justify taking a risk in the market?
3, my friend. It should
And
be
what should those usually be? And now,
one,
what order should it go in?
one location,
Right? So,
2,
would you say that we are in acceptable trade location?
yes,
Why?
because we are in a channel or like a down market, but
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
yeah,
You are
so that means
buying a down market. Remember,
yeah,
I mean, even I know there's more data on this than just this, but even
yeah,
if you just drew this, and I would say don't chase, don't chase, don't chase, make damn sure you're buying at or below reload zones. So we are definitely buying at or below reload zones, eh?
yes,
So location, check. All right, we can even go 3 reasons. And I think this is one reason why a lot of people like working with me. And actually, we did a poll of site members recently and asked, what are the pains that TRI and Brian helps relieve? And so many people said, you just keep saying the same message over and over and over. Nothing changes with you. You're not like jumping from one thing to another. The message is always consistent. So my apologies if you're like, oh God, he's going to do this crap again.
no,
But the
it
point
hammers
here
it
is that
home.
this is what you got to do if you want to make money from trading. So 3 reasons for a trade. And number one we said was location.
Location,
And then number two is
indicator confirmation
all
of
right. So we
divergence.
haven't actually gone through that, but what do you think? And what's this secret thing that we'd love to see?
Divergence.
Good, nice. And then finally, what was the thing that sort of is the icing on the cake that actually lets us measure what the risk is we're going to take? And by definition, if we know what risk we're going to have to take, then we know what minimum reward we want to have to see.
It's market or price structure to
All
frame your
right.
entry.
So you're getting this shit now. And the good part about it is, I told you this before. You go and teach this to your MBA colleagues, and they're going to love you. They're probably going to say, well, why even bother getting this degree? You can make all the money you want just doing this.
Different path up the same mountain.
Anyway, okay, so location. Yay, we got that. Now, considering how crazy bullish Brian got there, what do you think the odds are we have a bullish divergence here in momentum?
I'd say so.
Well, let's see. Oh, not bad. Do you see how RSI? And let's see where the lowest low is. Oh, yes. Look at that. Sure enough. So if we zoom in on this, we made a lower low in price. Can you see that?
Yes.
And we are consistently making lower lows, eh? Because like if you go on the clotheslines, clothesline, 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 right? If we change this to a line chart, watch what happens. See lower lows.
Yeah.
We can just leave it like that for now because that will still work. So, do we have lower lows in our momentum indicators?
Yes.
And if we use RSI here, what I see is lowest low, but oh, wait a minute. Those are higher lows. You see that?
Yep.
That, my friend, is what we call divergence.
Yeah.
I like to use the Willie. I think I've told you about this before, right?
Yes.
As
The
an
will.
indicator of when the market's oversold. So we had a reading of minus 89.90 on the Williams percentage chart. That's ridiculously oversold. I would call this market stupidly oversold. I don't know whether we had a divergence in MACD. Oh boy, look at this one. Holy moly, that's huge. Um, so these lows correspond with this low, right? This low is lower in price, but is that low in MACD lower than that low?
No.
So we got more divergence. On MACD, I would call this a potential divergence, but this is like one of these double Ds. And I don't know whether you've ever heard Brian loves double Ds. Because
With
you
that.
have this, you see how this is a low here, and that corresponds with that low? This low is much, much lower. All right, much lower.
More divergence.
But this is not a lower low, is it?
No.
So would you, and I mean, you're relatively new. In fact, actually, even OBV, right? Do you see that in OBV? So there's the low in OBV there. This is a lower low in price here, but is the OBV lower? Nope.
No.
So there's even more divergence. And we said that when you get divergence in volume indicators, is that a significant thing?
Yes.
Yeah, very significant. And look at the W that's happened here on OBV. So the OBV is already Wing out. Didn't we do a lecture on volume with
Last
you
week.
recently?
Last week we did the full OBV tutorial.
So can you
And it,
see, holy crap, what the hell's going on here? And can you see the green bars? You see how this bar is higher than that bar. And now just the bar from 2 days ago is higher than that bar. So we've actually got both camps kind of active here. But I think there's green bars are more than the red bars. So it's actually causing quite a W to come in there on OBV.
mm-hmm.
That's a I can't tell you, man. This is a pretty damn compelling idea. And I've actually had this sometimes happen when I used to do these shows years ago, especially when crypto was really hot.
Uh-huh.
We would just sit and be talking about these. And, the actual crypto operator guys would actually be watching the show with Will and Alex, and I would go, holy shit, look at that. And then all of a sudden the thing just launches itself. Because everybody goes, get in there and buy. And the whole damn thing just launches. So then I have to say, we started off the conversation about a half an hour ago with Brian going, holy shit. And now hopefully you all can, I don't know, Joe, can you appreciate why Brian would go, holy poop?
Yes, I'm actually setting
I'm in there
an
buying.
alarm on my chart. I'm not, as we
Well,
speak.
see, now this would be a really good example of if we had an account set up,
Yeah.
just even a dummy account that had like $100 in it or something,
Yeah.
that we could just simply place. We don't even have to buy anything right now. All we're going to do is we're just going to place what's called a buy on stop order. Have you ever heard that order type before?
No.
It's called, and maybe write this down if you're watching this, buy on stop. So stop means that your price was hit. So we're going to place a buy on stop. And we said that high there was, I think you gave me the number. Actually, it's written right here, right? 847. Yeah, 843,771. So we're going to place a buy on stop at 844. Make sense?
Yeah.
And if you can somehow get the higher ups and Will and all those guys to set up an account with you, throw like $100 into it. It doesn't even have to be that much
I've got
money.
my account funded, but we'll just have to get it connected to you and I.
This would be a really good tutorial trade.
Yeah.
And a good demo trade, right? And it would probably also make your bosses at Lightspeed and all that stuff. I bet you they would be pretty damn impressed with you if you could just rack up this account and show them a big fat profit. Because this is actually a really easy trade. Because you just this is a good example where what we used to always say in the trading pits, although. Geez, my trading lately has been kind of suspect. But we used to say way back when, a good trade is a good trade
is a good
is a
trade.
good trade. And if you can find three unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade, odds are you could probably find four, five, six, and seven. So, I think this is a really good example where you can say W's on other sides of trend lines. You can say OBVWs, W's within W's. That's incredibly powerful. You can say volume impetus. You can see W's in RSI. I mean, I've never even taught you how I use RSI to help me time trades. But this is a really good example where if you get a W on the RSI through the 50 line, oh boy, that's a pretty darn big buy signal.
I'd say.
And you notice that this is through 55 there. So actually, I would even say that the RSI buy signal has already come in, which is interesting. But can you see the W's in RSI here trying to form?
Yep.
Also, too, some people like Julian, business partner over at TRI, he likes to draw trend lines on RSI and he wants to see market structure on the other side of the trend line. So as you can see, we're getting lots of market structure. This thing is pointing up. You could even do one off of there. There's lots of reasons to be bullish of this thing. As we said, Willie is stupidly oversold. Actually, it was, but now it's rising. Lots of W's. This is a weekly price chart too. So if you can find these kind of patterns in weekly price charts, holy crap. In fact, I used to, in the level 1 program, this is what I actually encourage all level 1 students to look for, is weekly W's. So the fact that this is trying to come in here right now, I can't impart on you enough how incredibly bullish that chart is. It's just beautiful. Quite remarkable. So we will put buy on stop on 844, and then we will say if filled, risk to new lows. Put that over there, and we'll put that down there, and we'll go like that. And we will say if filled, look to SHOD. What do you think SHOD stands for?
Oh, half on a double.
38.2 slash 4.669. And we'll put that right, and we'll put that top, and we'll put that 11. And ironically enough, our job's done. I mean, that's a good part about like really good trading, is it should be really, really obvious what your trade idea is. Here, why don't we make it fun? We'll go big thumbs ups. You should be, and the good part about like a really good trade idea is you should have guys that use this one strategy, other guys use a different strategy, some people will use things like Bollinger Bands. We haven't even really talked volatility studies with you guys yet. We probably could. But in this particular case, good trade location, good indicator confirmations along with divergences, which is awesome. We can even write on here, confirmed bull divs. And then we will go 12, and then we'll go bottom. Yeah, that works. Yeah, okay, something like that. And we'll even do this over here. So actually, this is Brian's most favored double D's. Something like that. So double D, as you can use that as a reference to see the multiple divergences. And of course, we have market structure. Wow. So that actually, I think, is a really good tutorial.
That was. So we'll be sure to clip this, but I'm gonna, we'll keep an eye on that. I do know.
In fact, here, we'll get rid of the other one, but we'll give you these ones because that'll be nice and written up, and you could like tweet this out and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to do a clip, that would be totally awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know Chris, he's been trying to do clips. Oh, copy link. There you go. That's a good looking chart, you know. In fact, we'll even put this right in the lounge or in the YouTube channel. I don't know whether that's going to show up there or not. If you want to put that in the description
Yeah.
of the trade, I tell you, man, that's worth the price of admission alone, right there. Absolutely incredible.
Add that.
And it's
Edit.
interesting too how this is happening now. Because a lot of people in the broader economy are looking for the end of the world right now. And yet, I don't think that there's going to be a recession. The economy is just too damn strong. Um,
In there.
and I did notice today, I was quite surprised, if you don't mind indulging me a little bit, stock market talk.
Yeah, go for it. I'd love to.
Something that jumped out at me today that I was quite surprised about was does it make sense that crypto, especially a name like that, is really, to all intents and purposes, it is the same as like the small cap stock market. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't. Like
Yeah.
venture capital, right?
Okay.
And the broader stock market was selling off. Right? Can you see how we were breaking the new lows? This is the Dow futures. This is the S&P 500 futures.
Uh-huh.
This is the NASDAQ NQ. See how it's breaking the new lows?
Okay. Yeah.
Russell 2000, small cap market. No new lows there.
It's funny you mentioned that our small cap team at Lightspeed was actually, I was talking to a guy and he had mentioned how like the S&P 500 and stuff was hitting new lows today, but something that the team is like just starting to launch is small caps division, which is
Uh-huh.
an interesting
And what letter of the alphabet does that kind of look like?
at the end or where
Yeah.
it broke down
Well, if we go even here, down,
here. Nice
up,
W. And
down. Did that break out?
it did.
I mean, all you got to do is just draw a horizontal line right off of that high there. And yeah, look at that. So, isn't that a bit odd? So, in a weird sort of way, actually looking at crypto, I saw the same thing today because crypto is very venture capital.
Hmm.
Earlier on, did you see how Bitcoin just went absolutely nuts there? I mean, look at
Yeah.
that big W.
Yeah.
Isn't it that W to me looks like it's still working? Down, up, all right, up you go, all right, up, get up there, down, breakout.
Yeah.
And that means that if you buy that level there, right, where do you risk to?
There, you risk
Got to
down
risk
to
down to the bottom of the
26.
W, right?
Yeah.
Have we gone through that low yet?
No.
So that means technically this buy signal is still working, right?
Okay.
So and look at Litecoin. Holy crap! Look at the size of this W. Charlie Lee's pooping out W's. Look at the size of this thing.
Yeah.
You know who Charlie Lee is? I think that's his name, right? Charlie Lee.
Charlie.
Anyway, he was the guy who built Litecoin.
Yep, it is.
Look at the size of that W. That's huge.
Yeah.
So there's something going on in the venture capital space right now. Not quite sure what it is, but there's something brewing. So seeing this image does not surprise me at all. The only problem with this is that if we do happen to rally into the end of the year, that doesn't really bode very well for the next year, which kind of sucks. Notice how we rallied into the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. And
Hmm.
how did 2021 finish? Well, on its knees.
Yeah. Not great.
So you would actually prefer that these things actually sell off into the end of the year. But
Okay.
interesting how this one, it never really did participate in the 2023 crypto rally. They just
Accumulation
never
year.
did anything. So maybe it's time for these guys to dance. Actually, I said 2.6. I think oh yeah, there we go. 4.669. I can't, like, honestly, Joe. It takes a lot to get Brian Beamish going. Holy crap!
And this is one.
Because 9 times out of 10, people show me names, and it's like, "Oh, hey, is this a buy up here?" And it's like, "Come on."
Come on, you know better than that.
But that right there, nobody even asked about it. We just happened to pull it up because it was another oracle, right?
Yeah.
That is one. I gotta tell you, I think I gotta tweet this out. I just can't believe how incredible that chart is. I'm
Beautiful.
gobsmacked.
That's awesome. I know that Jay
How you doing
Wilson.
on time? Who's got the stopwatch running?
Oh no, we're good. We have 45. But Jay Wall, Omar says I asked 2 shows ago. Um,
Well, Omar, you're just awesome, aren't you?
yeah, Omar knew what's up.
There you go.
And then Jay Wall said that Band protocol or Band is another big Oracle solution. And I do know we did have a request from on Twitter for ARK as well.
Okay.
So we
Are
got
we?
two there.
I'm almost. I don't want to take that off the screen. It's so beautiful. It's like it's a piece of artwork.
It is.
Because
Looks like
you're
it.
like literally predicting the future with an image like that. And it's a good prediction, right? I mean, we could sit here and go, "Well, that's a bearish fractal. That means if you bought here, you're going to get destroyed." And nobody wants to hear that message, right? All right, so what do you want me to yeah, I know you've been talking about Blake, Omar. Wait, in fact, you know what we should do, Omar? Ask Julian about it. It might be interesting oh man, I made a ton of money on that blink. In fact, probably we should go buy those warrants back, eh? Anyway, this is a crypto show, not a stock show. So we got to stay on topic. We could talk crypto stocks, but when is Lightspeed going to integrate crypto stocks into the platform? Because
Yeah,
that would be really super valuable.
that would. We to be determined, to be announced.
All right. Well, if the higher ups are watching, old
Yes.
30-year market veteran here, it would behoove you to be able to chart things like what's that coin?
Lincoln?
What's coin's name? Anyway, the symbol is COIN.
Oh, Coinbase?
Coinbase. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I got wrecked on that, and I thought,
Oh boy.
well, and it was funny. I didn't buy it first, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait a while, as then it just dumped out. I'm like, all right, cool, now we're good, and
Not
it's
yet.
starting to rally, and then I think I'm probably down like 66%, and that's why we're
Well,
trading here. It's funny the two just terrible trades came into example today that I had was Lincoln.
okay. So, for the purposes of placating our audience, what do you think we should do next?
Do you think we can squeeze in 2 in 45 minutes?
Can always try.
Yeah, looks we have Arc, and then J Wall says Band is another one that we could take a look at.
Arc. So what's that? ARC.
ARK, and then you have to click
ARK.
on all.
And what, you want to look at it versus Tether or something?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's remarkable how Tether has survived, eh? All right, there it is. There's
No,
Dark. So I don't know
no.
whether we have Arc available.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know why. It's just not.
If I just go Arc
Yeah, you got to B. No, you got BUSD there. Binance
right
right
there.
there. Yeah, I
Problem
made
with
it.
BUSD is that everybody's conjecturing that that thing's about to go under. There's
Yeah.
Arc versus you can buy it on Trex. All right, well
Yeah.
that'll be fun. I'd be careful with this. That's a bit dangerous.
Okay.
We used to always, in fact, actually, we used to work with this guy named Da Vinci. I don't know if you've ever heard of him before or not.
Yeah, I've spoken
In
with
fact,
him.
actually, he used to use Coinigy platform a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Still will here and there, but we'll have to try to get him on the show one of these times. I've got him on WhatsApp. I
oh,
think it'd
cool. Yeah, it'd be
be
interesting to see what
interesting
he's doing in
to
life.
to see how he's doing it. Last time I checked in with him, he was living in
Um,
Dubai.
he in our TRI library, we still have where would it be? We still have one of the because he was pretty big on fundamentals, which is good. I
Hmm.
mean, you need to know what fundamental value is in these things. And under our setups, if we're looking at fundamental screeners, I think we still have his crypto altcoin scoring model. This was Da Vinci's originally. Um, and this,
Oh
if
yeah.
anything, is a fantastic analogy of look at market cap under $5 million. When was the last time you saw one of these cryptos with a market cap under 5 million? So obviously you have to adjust it a little bit, but the point here is that a lot of these are really good sort of rules of thumb, and you can see listed on 4 or more exchanges +1. Listed on one exchange actually gets a -1. Um, not much or a lot of trading history. Look at that, going back prior to March 2014. That's like 10 years ago, eh? God.
Hmm.
So just the point being
Nine
that
and a half.
um, being listed on multiple exchanges is a good thing. Being listed on only one exchange is not very good. That's kind of dangerous. So I would almost by default say that that's not something you want to see. What would be interesting, and do you guys have like a coin market cap kind of sort of same kind of setup?
Yeah, if you go to our homepage on if you just go coinigy.com and then explore, or maybe it's under platform in the top. Oh yeah, explore cryptocurrencies, or maybe then markets. So
All
similar
right,
to
and then we
that.
just type in ARC.
Yeah.
There, I guess that's it right there, ARC.
Yeah. Let's
Coin. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that looks pretty thin, doesn't it?
yeah. That's
So, and there's warning signs here, folks. Whoever's asking about this, there are. I'm not sure what I've done here. There are warning signs that this thing might be a bit sketchy. It
yeah.
might be interesting
But then
that
you can click on that launch advanced mode from there. Then
that'll
that'll
take us to
take
the
you
chart.
to obviously that one's tracks that it's taking you to, but
ARC, yeah, and I mean the question is I mean, don't get me wrong. It would not surprise me if Bitterx Bill. I don't know. You ever heard of Bitterx Bill?
yeah, Bill
Mm.
Shahar.
He has successfully moved himself overseas. I think he's basically dodged the U.S. regulators. Um, I made a lot of money on Trex. Trex was a lot of fun to trade on years ago. Then it just turned into an absolute shit show. And I mean, this is probably a good example, right? I mean, that's there. That is the 2017-18 bull market right there, right? So
Yep.
this is a good example of one that probably Bill horribly corrupt, stunningly corrupt, and as a result, he had to tuck his tail and get the fuck out of North America, or he would have been thrown in jail.
Yeah, he's gone.
But they basically have set himself up. He set himself up, I think, over in Asia now, right? And good thing the Asians aren't corrupt, are they? God. Well, let's say some Asians. CCP. Excuse me. Anyway, the point being that it would not shock me if you have this great resurgence of Bitterx come out of the woodwork and all these old piece of shit names all start coming back to life again because he can start up his horribly corrupt practices all over again. So, if you want to trade on this, all right, fine. This is versus Bitcoin. I don't even know if you can even get like a stable coin quote. I guess also too, right? Mr. CZ, he's over in China as well. Wow, a little bit of corruption for you. So that's where you get your BUSD, right? And BUSD this is very sketchy stuff.
Yeah,
There's a
even
lot of
that.
people who were thinking that BUSD was going to go under. Having
Yeah.
said that, you look at the chart, higher highs and higher lows define a bull market, right?
Yep.
So you could make the argument that, where's our little draw? There we go. Down. If we go off of clotheslines, it's probably best. Up, down, breakout. All right. So, I mean, technically that is a W. Sketchier than sketch. And also, too, this, what do we call these things here?
Wicks.
So if you see this kind of price action, that's pretty suspect unto itself, right? So, in fact, we often say this is like fat fingering. Somebody just went in and placed a market buy order for X dollars worth of this thing or X
Okay.
amount of this thing. And they just had to clean out the order book to actually get that fill. And then once the fill was done, there was like literally no buyers after that. So anybody who's a retail public person that bought in here, what do we call these people?
Sleeping on the couch.
Sleeping on the couch. They are trapped.
Bulls.
Yeah. So you can see how they did it again. And some of these people actually got released on this one here.
Mm-hmm.
I would still say there's a bunch of trap bulls all the way up at the top of that wick there. But, you could probably make the same argument. There's a whole bunch of trap bulls in this wick as well. Sleeping on the couch, right? All that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in the process of releasing these trap bulls now. And I suppose the good thing is, which direction is money flowing? Is money flowing into this thing or is money flowing out of this thing?
Money is, I think, flowing in now. That volume's getting up there now.
Well, you see OBV. Is it trending
Yeah,
higher or trending lower?
higher.
Hmm. Could be a little bit dangerous here, though. I mean, obviously, we're not at the bottom. We're not where the actual W came in, right, which was down here. That's 33 cents. And right now we're at 54. So, what do you think? You think Brian's going to be like, oh, yeah, this is a no brainer going by right now? It looks like Link. No.
No.
And you can see that, there is the double bottom breakout, and there's Brian's favorite fib, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you want to work a stink bid, and also, too, what's the trend? The trend is your friend until it isn't.
Yep.
Anyway, this is the venture cap reload zone that we talked about. Probably a good idea, especially on these penny piece of poo names, to use that venture cap reload zone. It's interesting, you can see, and this is typical Bitterix. So remember I'd said earlier, and then we went after the stops.
Yes.
So you can see, look at what they did here. They brought the market right down. They flushed through these lows. Anybody who's going to panic sell because of the break of this bottom, they're selling, and they're basically just handing their coins to Bill at, nothing. Song and a dance.
Give me your money.
Right. So the market goes in W's. It starts ratcheting higher. I suppose just purely on momentum. We could probably pull up momentum studies like we said. RSI, does that look like W's?
Yes.
Does that look like W's through the 50 line? Where's the 50 line? That's right there. Does that look like it's making W's through the 50 line?
It did.
That's a pretty damn big buy signal momentum-wise. Willie. Is Willie stupidly overbought? Stupidly oversold? What do you think?
Yes.
Stupidly oversold.
Yep.
W's? Are W's bullish or bearish?
Bullish.
In fact, actually, it's funny. Seemed to have a bit of a hard-on for Da Vinci tonight. No pun intended. But actually, when he was at TRI, he actually really liked this simple model that he discovered on his own. That if you see W's in RSI, which is a price momentum oscillator, that'll be on the exam. Better write that down. I used to
Right.
do that while teaching classes. I'd go, hint, 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 it's probably a question on the final exam. And then I'd
Okay.
literally see all the students all like madly scribbling it down. In fact, I had one term where I had these three characters. They were just priceless. Dominic, Innie, and Jamie. The three of them were such
Uh-huh.
wisecrackers. They were just the best. And Jamie would always make fun of me on that. Well, this is probably a question on the final exam. Anyway, can you see how this put in W's in RSI? W is kind of a sloppy W in OBV, but nonetheless, it looks very W-ish. And a W in RSI. Remember we said W through 50 line. Oh boy. And we actually labeled this the Devo signals. In fact, actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think in our free screeners, because I'm not going to charge money for a screener like Dav created. I don't know whether this is working. I don't know whether Sjord has cleaned this up, but I do know we had the Davo signal in our free screeners at one point, but it looks like he's taken that page down. Oh no, here we are. Hey, there you go. Bullish Devos. We follow everything under the sun, so you get all these crazy ass symbols. But if you look at bullish Davos, they work quite. Look at that. I mean, oh boy, big signals, eh? Um, Look at that. I mean, just fantastic signals. So, oh my goodness, look at that guy. BUSD BIDR. I have no idea what that is, but look at that chart. Isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
So you can see the W coming in here, eh? Down, up, down, breakout. It's happening as we speak. So, I mean, the fact that you could actually get these Davos signals with the basic site membership, this is a gift from God. And we have just such a hard time marketing this site because, man, the tools here are just next level. I'm not quite sure why we can't market this better. We should have just bazillions of members, but anyway. So interesting how we do have like a screener, the Davos right here, and that's based on good old Da Vinci. So point of the matter here on your arc, you can see the Devo, W there, W there, W there. And do we have a W in price? Yes. And what
Yes.
did price do? Looks like it's taken off here.
Boom.
So if anything, great lesson for all of you. Anybody who's here sort of like, hey, I want to learn what buy signals look like in the market. Well, the more W's you see on your indicators and in price, the better. It's just that simple, folks. And keep in mind, right? Again, I like to operate off of weekly price charts. The daily price chart probably looks like it's gone through the roof. Yeah. So you can see if we drill down to the daily chart, can you see this W down here?
Take
Oh
off.
my goodness.
Yeah.
And what's super cool about this is, I mean, this is absolute textbook. So hopefully you can see down, up, even if we just go off of here, down, up, breakout, and let's be generous. We'll go off of that high there. Oh, come on, you. Right, that high there. So there's a W. But what's super cool about this, hopefully you can see. Let's put some of this stuff away. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so hopefully you can see this. Remember, this is our weekly reload zone. But if you really want to time your trades like a total boss, could you not notice the W? Make reference to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll draw our reload zone. And look how reload zone lines up
Right
perfectly
there.
with that W. And this
Wow.
is actually what on the site we like to call this the shark setup. Because you
Okay.
are a badass shark trader. So do
I
you
like
see
it.
how 78.6 off the original market structure, market pulls back into that level and you get an absolute gift. Isn't that cool?
It is.
Also, too, for those people that are sort of paying attention, do you see how there's this big tail here?
Yep.
And what if wicks are trap bulls, then tails must be
Trapped bears.
All right, so if price does come down into this tail, what are those trap bears that are short? What are they likely to do?
Wicks and tails like to be eaten.
Right, but we're trying to understand the
Okay.
actual mechanics of what's going on here.
All right. Could you ask it again?
If wicks are
Okay.
trap bulls because
Yeah.
people bought in here and it was kind of not really a smart idea because they chased, and that must mean that tails are trapped bears. So what did they do in here?
They sold.
All right, so to correct that problem, what are they likely to do if price can get back down in here? They sold. It was a
Then
bad trade idea. If price can come back down into here, what are they
then they
likely to do? Well, people over on YouTube, you want to help Joe
buy.
out? Yeah, they're going to buy. So price comes dipping down into that level,
Okay.
and they just bought back everything that they sold there. Does that make sense?
Makes sense. Yes.
And then what did we say this two-bar pattern was called?
The V bottom
Right, but more importantly,
inside bar.
right? Why? Because all of this bar is inside of this
Inside bar.
bar, right?
Yes.
You could even argue that all of this bar is inside this bar. So that means if we drill down to, like, say, a 4-hour chart, what do you think this is going to look like?
Um, much bigger tail.
Well, I mean, this is down, up,
Oh,
down. We
okay.
did
A
not go to
W.
new lows.
A W.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, let's see what it looks like.
Nothing.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
So now you want to be like a total boss trader. Can you see how this is a reload zone? Now, this is probably doing the 78.6 to 88.6 off of this range. Now you're probably, pushing it, right? So I would say, just keep it simple. What's your simple reload zone? 61.8 to 78.6, and notice like what a beautiful turn right through there. And then remember, we had said that this was the original double bottom breakout level, this line right here.
Yes.
And do you notice what is this bar pattern, this two-bar
Inside
pattern?
bar.
Can you see how this, and this is even more special because this bar is completely inside the previous candle's body. So
So
what do
when it
we
doesn't have
call?
a tail like that on that bar, that just means that there's no sellers or no bears there.
Right, well, the market came
Yeah.
down. Beep. They finished it here, right?
Uh-huh.
And this is what you want to see as a good technician. I used to have a buddy, a broker buddy of mine, he used to always say, the best thing you can possibly see is see the market close on its lows at the end of the day. Everybody is selling, not a single person is interested in buying, and it finishes the bar right at the lows. That's the best scenario possible.
And why is that?
Well, I mean, you tell me, look what happened. The next
Okay,
bar,
because it goes
beep, we
up.
open up.
Gotcha.
There's no more sellers, right? Everybody who was going to sold did sell, right?
Yes.
And it's right on its lows. So the next bar opens up, beep, it's inside the candle. Do you see that?
Yeah.
See how this next bar had opened up inside that candle body? So we actually give this a very specific name. And the easy way for you to remember this is if you get it wrong, a samurai will jump out of the closet and chop your head off.
And what's the
Starts with an H. You ever heard
uh,
me use this expression? I'm sure you have, but
um
harami.
Harami. Where is it? I've got my notes here.
And harami, I actually had a student like literally 10 years ago.
Oh yeah,
Um,
there.
who said that the literal translation of harami is baby inside mummy's pregnant body.
Interesting. Wait, so tell me about the harami. I actually did not have any notes about that.
Well, take a screenshot of that.
Yeah,
All right, can you take a screenshot of that?
I'm taking that now. Got it.
So you get a candle, and this is for me, it's important. For the classic candlestick aficionados, it's not as important, but for me, I find that if you have a situation, this is baby, and this is mummy, and here's baby inside mummy's body. Can you kind of visualize that?
Yeah,
I mean, in a lot of Japanese candlestick terminology, they try and make it sort of look like something that you would see in life.
gotcha.
There are some people that are okay with if baby's feet actually stick out a little bit from mummy's body.
Okay.
I'm not one of those. I would personally prefer if I see harami, I want all of baby inside mummy's body.
Okay.
But
That makes
some
sense.
people are okay with tails being outside of mummy's body. In this particular case, I would call this a bull rammy. If
Okay.
some of baby's feet were outside of mummy's body. But this one, that's not the case. There is no tail. Their baby doesn't have any feet outside of mummy's body.
So
Baby is in completely inside mummy's body, right? And they call this part of the candle between the open and the close, the red part that you see on the screen,
mhm,
they call this the candle body.
that makes sense.
So we also call this two bar pattern. What's the other name that we give it? That,
Inside bar.
exactly, and that's sort of like your gnarly North American stock traders, and they use bar charts that look like that, and that's where this concept inside bar comes from, because you notice this bar is inside the previous bar. All right, does that make sense?
It does.
So that's where you get the bar reference from. So the point here is very, very powerful potential reversal signal. Trade fires on a tick above baby's head here. So in this case, that's at 0.2585. And your stop is below mummy's feet here, right? The tail. So you tell me, how did that trade work? Would that have been a half decent idea to buy on that harami?
Yes, sir.
I
I
mean,
would say so. That
isn't this what you're all wanting to do? Buy low, sell high, Lambo Central?
where does it go up to there? Yeah, if it's
Well,
buying
I
at
mean, who knows? Where,
25.
where did this go right off the chart? I mean,
Oh yeah.
would
So
that not have been, like I said, I mean, one trade and you'd be driving Lambos.
did it get up to what was it
Look at
50
that,
high
it's still
too?
going. Off
But
of
look
that
at right
one
around 50
signal.
there. You can see people are selling half on a double
You probably.
because look at it started channeling right at
So
50
what did
on
we
50.
say that number was? That number was 25. So at 50 cents, you're probably going to see some selling.
Yeah.
And yeah, interesting. Look at that. So we ran into traffic at like 55. In fact, actually, yeah, there you are, right into that 50
Yeah.
area. You started to probably, I wouldn't surprise me if those were sell halves on a doubles kind of guys. We could also, too, for fun, because these are valid W's. If they're valid W's, then that means what kind of study can we draw?
The Fibonacci retracements.
No? Well, I mean, you can do that anytime.
Oh,
But W's, we can start drawing chaos
chaos
theory.
theories.
So, we'll go boobity boo, and we'll go boom and
Boom,
boom. Get
boom.
rid of those guys, and we'll go boom and boom. Just keep it simple. And there's 2.618. And there's 4669. Geez. What's the next bifurcation level? Oh, this
Uh,
is gonna really quiz you.
oh, four, with that 6 point or next one up. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
877.
8.77.
So
Or
let's see where
step
that
down.
is. Oh, hello. Pretty cool how we ran up into that level and then had to back off and came all the way right back down to 4669. See that? Pretty
Yeah.
cool, eh? So, in fact, actually, we hit the 877 here, didn't we?
Eight,
And
seven, seven,
then,
six.
can you see that?
Yep.
And then, literally, the next candle, we had to come all the way right back down to
Down
4669.
there.
Isn't that incredible?
It is.
So, 2.618, we did not have to go all the way back down to 100 here. We stopped there. So that means you can think 4669. Since we just blew right through 4669, you have to say, all right, well, next logical stop is 877. And the fact that at 877, we came
Back
down, we
down.
hit 4669. Hopefully, you can see that this makes another W in
It
here.
does.
So that means we can do like another chaos theory going up from there. And you can start using your objectives. There's 2.618 over there. I'd also say too, remember we said that if we, and this is where the previous statement you made is more relevant. At
Yeah.
any given point in time, if you see a range like this, we're at the bottom end of the range. There's the top end of the range. What's a study that we should be thinking about?
Fib.
Retracements.
Yes.
So we can go
B.
78.6, 61.8, our natural levels, all right, dead cat bounce,
50%,
50%,
38.2.
38.2. So let's see where we rallied up to. Look how this one went all the way right up into 78.6. Very powerful.
Right into that. Can you turn on 88.6 too? I want to see if
Don't I think we didn't. I don't think we got up that high, but we can
I
see.
want to just see if it's in that venture cap reload. No,
Yeah, right
no,
up in there.
no.
What's interesting is what's the next level after 877?
Um,
16 point. We don't even have it. It's so
yeah,
high, we don't even have it on here. And I think it's like 16 point. I want to say like 22. I think that's what it is. I can't remember though. So that's up in this area here. That would literally be expecting a test of new highs. And notice, remember, we did a fib or an Foggenbaum off of this range, and there's 2.618, which is also saying that this thing wants to go to new highs.
yeah.
But you notice we went up, and then we came all the way back down, and then we went up, and then, oh boy, did we put in bearish structure here? So I get the, and probably also too, what do you think the odds are we're going to start seeing bearish divergences on these moves up top here?
Probably pretty high.
Yeah, because this thing looks like it's getting exhausted. Can you see MACD there?
Yep.
So MACD, and this, this is where I got upset at Da Vinci. Because when Bitcoin was doing this in 2021, making lower highs, and I've shown you this before, he was involved with this sort of promotional thing, and he was just saying, "Go and buy Bitcoin at 60,000. You're going to make tons of money," which was just total promotional talk, not good trader talk.
Yeah.
And you can see clearly RSI, same sort of thing. Um, there was a lot of anecdotal evidence here that this thing's getting exhausted up top here. So you're not a good idea to chase this here, right? Duh. I mean, the interesting thing is we could even start thinking about things like bullish bot setups to take us higher. But as I said before, I mean, there's a million different coins to look at. Considering how many we have and that the way that link looked like, and then the fact that this thing is really a funny creature of Chinese, slightly corrupt cryptocurrency and um, you
Saying
know,
CZ is corrupt.
CZ is out to make a buck. And
Good way to put it.
he, do you remember there used to be a gang member, a mafia guy, and he was called the Teflon Don. Do you remember him?
Yeah,
I think his name was John Gotti. And a lot of these crypto guys that are slippery like that,
you're right.
they remind me of the Teflon Don, where he would get off, he would get off, he would get off, but eventually these guys have their day in court. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, another guy who's like a crypto influencer who just got busted here recently. And on the site, in our sort of our funny little shows, our daily briefs and stuff, we were talking a little bit about that. I can't remember what the guy's name was, BitBoy or something like that.
Yeah, BitBoy Crypto or
Yeah, and I think
Armstrong, Ben Armstrong.
he got like arrested because he was waving around a gun because he wanted to go after some guy who stole one of his Lambos or something
I
like
saw that and
that.
showed up to like the dude's house while the police were there.
Yeah, they're like, "What are you doing waving that gun around? You're gonna kill somebody?"
Yeah, it's just like, all right.
So anyway, that's here nor there. Just the point being that Mr. Bitterix Bill, he does have a slightly shady tone to him. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is some funny business with these. Let's leave it at that. BUSD itself is a little suspect, and the fact that this thing doesn't trade on a lot of exchanges, that in itself is a bit suspect as well. So, but nonetheless, if you were able to buy this W or buy the reload zone pullback of the W or buy the W within the W, I mean, the interesting thing is technical analysis doesn't really care about corruption. It just doesn't care. I think you heard me say before, right? A good buy is a good buy is a good buy, right?
Yes, sir.
So that, I think, was a good buy, whether you buy the corruption story or not. Up here, kind of iffy. Based on our W kind of premise, if I do, right, because on the weekly charts, it's a down, up, down, breakout. That means technically, if I'm going to buy this market here, I have to fully expect that this thing could come all the way down here. There's no reason why that can't happen whatsoever. So is that a kind of a risk I want to take? And what do we say is sort of our benchmark of risk that we should always sort of think risk reward?
2-1.
Right. So then that means I can just simply draw. I'm going to buy there. I know I have to risk down to a break of the W down here. So remember I told you earlier, before you get into any trade, you should know exactly where you're going to buy, exactly how much risk you're going to take. And then by definition, if you know the rules of the game, you know exactly where you want to ideally take some profits, 2-1s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then that means that I have to realistically expect this thing to go up to there.
At 4.669.
It's interesting that is a level there. But you tell me, is that an easy trade?
No, sir.
Like the easy trade is to buy this W and look to take profits at the 50% rule. Because that's what WD Gann said, right? That's what alarms are all about.
Mm-hmm.
Or alarms. I read over on the YouTube page, Adam put, my alarm went off. Time to wrap things up. Yeah, it is. Look at that. It's almost 7 o'clock. Thank you, Adam. Notice your roast would have been burnt had Adam not said anything there.
I know. I couldn't deny there.
So yeah, unfortunately, you asked whether we could do 2 in 45 minutes, and it turns out we couldn't.
But we do this often.
Funny. Brian sure loves the sound of his own voice, eh?
I love learning, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, was there any value in all of that? What I did?
Definitely. It was. And I thought I'm really excited to see how that like the link thing plays out. And I think it'd be fun to kind of come back.
That looks like I got to go and buy some more of that.
Because this is like the first real setup where like while we've been doing the show where we've like caught like, oh, we're right there. Like, let's keep an eye on that one. So,
No, that's not true. Because
well,
the other day we
yeah,
grabbed that ruin just as it
yeah,
was breaking
but
out.
yeah. I'm saying like that we just like stumbled across.
If anything, this is a good example because this one's a good investment idea.
Uh-huh.
The ruin that we saw was a good trade setup for like the traders. And I
Yeah,
think it's still working.
yeah,
So actually, we've been doing some pretty good work with you here, you know?
yeah,
So we've, you remember this one's nice and simple,
yeah.
right? And actually, why don't we just finish up with this? So the bot setup, if we're going to measure this, what did we say are the measuring levels?
For the bot setup,
Yeah.
it is, let me see. I've got measuring is 33% and 66%.
Good. So we just take our fib tool and we will put those right on there, 33 and 66. So did we do 33%?
Yes.
Did we go beyond 66%?
No.
So that means the bot is alive.
It's alive.
Right. And then we can basically replicate that. And now what we want to do is put all the trade metric levels on, right?
Okay.
What are the trade metric levels?
So let me see what I got. Trade metric, trade
Remember, we
metric.
got to wind this up. So
I
I'll help you.
know. So,
We're going to break it into quarters.
okay.
We're going to buy the first quarter. So, whoops.
Oh, yeah. So it's 0, 25, 50, 66, and 1. Yeah,
All
I
right.
did that.
So we'll flip that around. And do you see how the W came in nicely here?
Do. That is beautiful.
So, and I do see now looking at this one, you might have been told to, hey, just hop off. That's scratch. That's the way it goes. You see how we rallied up to the 50% level?
I do.
And then we backed off. So at 50%, you move your stop to scratch. And we did come down and hit that. So I really wouldn't have a problem if you're like, Brian, I don't know what's going to happen here. So I think I'm based on bot rules. I'm just going to hop off on the sidelines. There's nothing wrong with that. But the point here is that it's perfectly valid setup. It's just doing its thing. And now what's interesting is if you want to get back into this thing, there's no reason why you can't bot this up. So did we do 33%? Where's 33 down here, right? 33 and 66.
Yes.
So did we do 33? Yes. Did we go beyond 66? No. I mean, these
No.
are just backwards, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
So that means that we could start hunting for bullish
Another.
structure and bullish reasons to get long off
Then you
of
do
the 25,
25,
50,
5, and then
right?
66.
Of course, that's backwards. So that's still an interesting. Look how that rally peak is right to that level. So this thing might just tell you, yeah, maybe it wasn't nearly as strong as we thought it was. So maybe hop off on the sidelines. And if this thing is still a bull, then it'll do something like that, just what it did here. And we might be told to get right back into this thing here shortly. So that's a trader's life, though. So
Yeah.
probably a little bit advanced. Like you said, that link idea, this thing's got investors written all over it. I mean, I can't believe how incredible this looks. I really can't. Quite shocking. I guess that's a weekly. Oh, isn't that interesting? Can you see the daily double bottom that came in right down here?
Yeah.
So that's, I suppose, like your slick traders. Yeah, you might say actually we're coming a little bit late on the daily charts, but that weekly bottom, I don't mind investors stepping in on the long side there and risking to a break of the lows. Remember that Joe six-pack trade? I suppose you can see like the slick traders. Look at this WA. Beautiful. Oh my God, that's so perfect. And then on this big rally, we draw our reload zones and see if we can sneak back in on a reload zone test. And I would say, try and follow that 78.6 Brian's favorite fib. But also, too, we'll throw on Mountain Man. So there is the reload zone. And look what happened down in here. Down, up, down, breakout. Actually, pretty close off of Mountain Man there. So, Slick Traders, nice little W there, and then another nice little W right here. And actually, this is a really good example of a cup and handle as well. So I don't know whether you can see this. We probably should wind this up, eh? We got like 2 or 3 minutes until your roast is going to start burning.
Yeah.
Can you see the cup and handle here? So maybe take a screenshot of this if you've never seen this before. It's kind of a cool
The
concept.
saucer.
So looks something like that. It's not the best drawing, but on a clothesline basis, that looks pretty good. So there is your teacup, like so. And here is your handle, like so. See the little teacup?
Okay. Yeah.
Very, very powerful signal. So that's what's
Okay.
called a
Make a
cup
note
and
of that.
handle. You ever heard of that before?
I've heard of it, but honestly, it's funny you mentioned that. It did cross my mind earlier. My brother, when he first got into crypto, he watched a couple videos, and that was one thing that he told me. He had no idea what he was actually doing, but he mentioned the cup and handle.
It's a cool setup, I'll tell you that much, by crackers. And then also too, I mean, keep it simple, stupid. Do you see how the cup and handle, technically that is a very steep, powerful trend line. And you can see, we haven't even come back to the trend line. It's a very powerful uptrend. I think you could make the argument, to keep it simple, stupid, that this is a very, very big buy signal right there. So, kind of cool. And then, like I said, if you really wanted to fine tune this, you could draw a reload zone off of this range. And notice 61.8, 78.6 is basically right back down into the original cup and handle bottom. So clearly, and also too, notice this is a cool example. I often talk to people about this. If you can find reload zone, you see how that's a reload zone?
Mm-hmm.
Within a reload zone. So do you see how there's just this little area that's overlapping right in here? That is just absolutely killer trade location. If you have reload zones within reload zones, oh my God, just awesome. And it kind of makes sense, because maybe what's going to happen here is maybe this turns into a big cup and handle. It looks something like that.
Okay.
And then our handle is going to look something like that. Maybe it goes all the way down. Who knows? Might even just do a shallow correction. And if it did just a shallow correction, right, that would set up a bullish bot, right, and all that kind of talk. Anyway, we can go on and on and on. Just the way that I would suggest is that this looks like one hell of a buying level down in here. So probably the smart thing to do would be to let this thing break out on a weekly basis. And maybe, like we just have here, maybe this thing goes shooting all the way up to here. It confirms the weekly bottom, which means that we can, of course, draw a market structure trend line off of those lows. Notice that that lines up nicely with those lows as well. And then what it means is on a subsequent pullback into trendline support, notice how that might just set up nicely through this reload zone. That's what if you were going to ask me, Brian, what do you think is going to happen going forward? I would say probably something like this. So
understandable. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think next show I'm definitely going to pick your brain some more about this cup and handle.
Sure.
So
that's the whole point of this show, right? Is you want want me to spill the beans.
That's the plan.
All right, well, I think that's 7 o'clock, eh? So we better wind it up, Brian, here.
Thank you again for everything. And thank you for everyone in the chat and everyone participating, those watching after. Please remember to like the video, comment on it, let us know what you thought. And I know Big House, I'm sorry we did not get to. I see you mentioned Bitcoin Cash. I am going to write that down here.
I think I saw
So
people in the lounge posting that, which is interesting, right? Isn't that Roger Ver? And then we used to joke and call it B trash. And oh my God, he literally lost his lunch. So, just out of curiosity, I'm wondering what this thing actually looks like. Oh, I can't do it. What is it? BCH
CH, I
forward
think.
slash USDT. All. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's just see what it looks like just for fun. Okay, now tell me what setup does that kind of look like it's making?
A Head and Shoulders.
No, no, no.
No, dang it.
The bullish bot.
Oh, yes.
So, while Joe takes us on out of here, I will draw up the bullish bot levels and
62,
see
66.
if
And
you
let's see.
can.
So we did go below
All
beyond
right,
that.
so this is interesting. It might be interesting if you look at various different exchanges to see if they all went. This might just be a function of Kraken, because Kraken does have sometimes some funny price action. And let's see, this is Binance, the USDT pair, yeah. All right, so and this one's pretty close. Now, I know some guys I work with, they're like, well, if it's just the tail down here and the candle body closes are still respectable and you are making three higher lows, well, I'll live with it. I have taken setups like this though that have failed because it did go beyond the 66, but I'd be just curious to see where the 25 level is, just to give us a reference. So, whoever asked about this one, it looks to me like, yeah, I mean, this, Jesus, this, in fact, actually, it's kind of funny, and you better cut me off here because we might be here still another hour or two. But you can kind of see, didn't we just talk about this? It just feels, this feels like deja vu,
Yeah.
right? What's that and that, and then
Well,
that,
cup and
and then
handle.
that, and that? What's that?
Cup and handle.
Yeah, so there you go. And what a surprise, it's happening off the 25 level. And we got one low to risk against, two lows to risk against, three lows to risk against. We could do things like, because we broke it out through the W, we could do fog and bombs, which means we can start thinking about chaos theory. And then, the conversation just goes on and on and on. And like I said, somebody better shut me the hell up, or we'll be here for another 2 or 3 hours.
Well, I know. Well, it's always interesting, but we'll be sure to tune in for the next show. We'll definitely jump in and re-engage here.
Yeah,
But
let's oh, look at this. This is cool. So A, B, C, D, and look how 4669 lines up nicely with that bullish bot level. So we snuck the second chart in under the wire there.
there we go. We're quick.
So yeah, whoever it was that asked for that, you got actually a nice little treat there.
Beautiful.
All right. And I'll also too, where are you, Joe? I'll give you this chart as well. I don't know whether you want to put multiple charts.
I think we can. We'll start a thread and we'll
Okay.
show what we discussed
Sure.
and with the link to the video.
That's not a bad idea. So I will send this to you as well. But it looks to me like it's not obviously as pretty of a write up as that first one that we looked at, that link. But I think you get the idea of the levels. That's interesting price action there.
Awesome.
So, okay, better be
Well,
quiet now. I'm going to let
no
you
worries.
take us on out of here. And all I ask is I hope everybody felt like they got some good value. Let's really promote this show to try
Let's
and
do
be
it.
sort of the demonstrator of best practices within the crypto space. We are coming into a new crypto cycle. And I would love for us to become sort of like, you know what? If you want to go and learn how to do this correctly, watch that Coinigy show with that Beamish guy.
Yeah, that is the goal. So please, guys, remember like and subscribe. I see those like counts getting up there. So we appreciate you all and have a great week. And Brian, best of luck with Liam tomorrow, sir.
Thank you.
Thank
Did
you
you know
all.
he had his birthday yesterday? Did I say that?
You did mention that happy birthday
Yeah.
to Liam.
No, you're sweet. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, take care, everyone. And that's all for now.